The narration is not spoken by the person who wrote it in The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, the fascinating play by Simon Stevens based on the novel by Mark Haddon. The show opens the 51st season of the Repertory Theater of St. Louis in a brilliant production. The author of the narrative is Christopher Boone, the 15-year-old boy who experienced the incident. The speaker is Siobhan, Christopher's teacher in a special needs class in Swindon, a town about 80 miles west of London. She's reading the story Christopher wrote about the incident, in which he discovered the corpse of his neighbor's dog, Wellington, which had been impaled with a 4-pronged garden fork. When an investigating police officer touches Christopher, he lashes out in terror. For pushing the officer, Christopher receives a caution, which means he'll be in serious trouble if it happens again. Christopher's father, Ed, implores the boy not to dwell on the incident, but Christopher becomes obsessed with figuring out who killed Wellington. What Christopher discovers upends his world and has profound and lasting consequences for his family. Christopher's behavior is obsessive in a number of ways. In his insistence on telling the truth and not being touched, for example, and in his love of mathematics. In telling his story, Christopher never applies the label autistic to himself, but the characteristics of the spectrum are recognizable in his behavior. I would not call Christopher an unreliable narrator. His honesty makes him completely trustworthy. At times, however, he is an uncomprehending narrator. He doesn't understand the responses of other people in the story he's telling. For me, the most moving aspect of the play is that we see not only what Christopher sees, but also how his way of seeing differs from ours. His lack of empathy evokes empathy in us. The Rep was the first regional theater to obtain the rights to produce this play after its award-winning runs in London and New York. The rights came with a catch, however. They did not include the ability to draw on the original design concept, which featured dazzling computer-driven graphics. I'm not surprised that the National Theatre in London chose to keep this striking concept to itself, nor am I surprised that the Rep's artistic director, Steve Wolf, welcomed the limitation in his letter to subscribers because the restriction empowered the Rep to come up with its own way of bringing the story to life. I saw the original production on video twice in the NT Live series at the Tivoli. I was enthralled, but no more enthralled than I was at the Rep, where director Marcia Milgram Dodge has replaced technology with something more human, choreography. Dodge's title, in fact, is director and choreographer, and there's an associate choreographer too, Michael Baxter, whose work Bob and I praised highly when he was a student at the Webster Conservatory. Don't be misled by the term choreography. There are no dance numbers as in a musical, but the movement of the characters has been planned and composed as carefully as a dance number would have been. In the original production, when Christopher takes a train to London on his own, the lighting gave the audience a taste of his sensory overload. At the Rep, the movement of the ensemble is equally effective at conveying Christopher's disorientation. Natalie Sisson's scenic design features 2 high walls that meet in a corner upstage. Objects that might be found in a classroom fill the space in front of the walls. These objects end up playing multiple roles in Christopher's narrative. So do the members of the chameleon-like ensemble: Dale Hodges, Kevin Cutts, Leona Michelle, Dathan B. Williams, Ka-Ling Chung, and associate choreographer Baxter. Nick LaMedica captures the otherness of Christopher, but makes him entirely sympathetic, too. The burden on Christopher's parents is painfully clear in the performances of Jimmy Kiefer as Ed and Amy Blackman as Judy. Kathleen Wise's Siobhan has the patience and the warmth that every teacher should aspire to. Leon Weber's costumes, Matthew Richards' lighting, and David Bullard's sound contribute significantly to a production that gets the Rep's second 50 years off to an excellent start.
Fascinating piece, both in the writing and in the way they treated it at the Rep. Very, very much worth seeing.
Absolutely.